Now, we will solve another question in instruction set architecture. This is a typical question. In this, a program is given. Based on the program, there is a question. In fact, this question was given in 2007, and this is a linked answer question. A linked answer question is a question on which there will be one or two questions asked. Now, on this data, there are two questions. We will try solving those those questions separately. Now, let us have a look at this question completely. What is the data given in this question? Consider the following program segment for a hypothetical CPU having three users registers R1, R2, and R3. Okay, I do have three registers in the processor. One is R1, second one is R2, and the third one is R3. Okay, and here the program is given. The program description is given clearly. At every instruction, what is the operation and what is the size of the instruction? You can clearly see there are three columns. One column is all about the instructions. Second column is going to demonstrate the operation that is going to be performed during that instruction execution. And the third column is going to show you the number of words that are consumed by those instructions in the main memory. Okay, now let us have a look at the size of the words. The first instruction occupies 2 words in the main memory. Second instruction, 1 word. Third instruction, 1 word. And the fourth instruction takes 2 words. Fifth instruction, which is a halt instruction, is going to take 1 word. So you can clearly see here, all the instructions are of different sizes. Okay. Now, let us look at those questions and try to understand the description. Let us understand each and every instruction rather, and understand the description of each and every instruction very clearly. The first instruction is move R1, 5000, which means that the contents of the memory location 5000 will get transferred to the processor's register R1. The second one is move R2, memory of R1, which means that the memory of R1, that is, R1 is a processor's register which holds an address under which memory location has a content that will get transferred to R2. That is, M of R1 will get transferred to R2. The third one is add R2, R3, in which both R2 and R3 will get added and will get transferred to R2. And the final one is move 6000, R2. That is, the value of R2 will get transferred to memory of 6000. Okay, so this is the program which is terminated by a halt instruction. You know that the halt instruction is going to terminate 2 programs. When one program gets executed and one more program is awaiting, this halt instruction will put the CPU in a halt state till the next program gets loaded. Okay, when there is no program to get loaded, CPU will be indefinitely in the halt state. Okay, so this is the complete program. And now just have a look at this question. The question is, consider that the memory is byte addressable. The details, just have a look at the details which are given in this question. Consider that the memory is byte addressable. Now, the first point that we got is memory is byte addressable, right? Memory is byte addressable. This is an important point to understand because every word in the main memory will be addressed by its byte. Okay, it is not a word addressing. I'm highlighting this. And then the program has been loaded starting from the main memory location 1000. That is, this program is loaded from memory location 1000. Let me show it how it is going to work. Okay, the origin of this program in the main memory is 1000. Okay, I'm writing it here. Okay, 1000. If an interrupt occurs while the CPU has been halted after executing the halt instruction, the return address saved in the stack will be, okay, actual question is, there comes an interrupt, okay, while a program is being executed, and that too, when the halt instruction is being executed, there comes an interrupt. Okay, when the interrupt comes, the CPU will be branching to the interrupting location. Okay, so during which the return address, that's the program counter value, is needed to be pushed into the stack. You know that during a branch instruction, when a branch is taken, before we branch to the subroutine's address, the program counter will be pushed into the stack, right? Similarly, during an interrupt also, the program counter value should be pushed into the stack before CPU executes an interrupt service routine. Okay, now here in this case, the halt instruction is getting executed and there comes an interrupt. When an interrupt comes, CPU should be able to save the program counter value into the stack. The question is, what is the program counter value pushed into the stack? For that, first of all, we need to understand the offsets of each and every instruction, the address of each and every instruction. Okay, the first address, the starting address is 1000, you know already, because the program is loaded from 1000. And as it is two words, the first instruction is going to take 8 addresses, since every word is equal to 32 bits, right? I will write it here. One word is equal to 32 bits, is equal to 4 bytes, right? So one word is equal to 4 addresses, since each byte will be given an address in the main memory. So one word will take 4 addresses, right? So the first instruction is taking 2 words. So the total number of addresses that are consumed by this first instruction is 1000 to 1007, right? 1000 to 1007, 8 addresses are assigned to this first instruction. And the second instruction offset is 1008. Second instruction is a one word instruction. So all it takes is just 4 addresses, 1008 to 1011. And the third instruction will start from 1012. It is also a one address instruction, one word instruction. So it will take 4 addresses, 1012 to 1015, total 4 addresses, 1012, 13, 14, 15. And this instruction's offset is 1016, right? 1016, as since it is two-word instruction, it is going to take 8 addresses, 1016 to 1023. Okay. Now the thing is, the offset of the halt instruction is, of course, as you know, 1024. Now, there comes an interrupt. When interrupt comes, current program will be suspended and I'm going to execute one more program. Now, before we suspending the current program, we need to save the program counter value. So when it is getting executed, when this instruction going to get executed, the program counter value is 1008. When this gets executed, the program counter value is 1012. When this gets executed, the program counter value is 1016. Okay. When this gets executed, the program counter value is 1024. That means that program counter value will obviously be the address part of the next instruction. Now the question is, when the halt instruction gets executed, what will be the program counter value? The important thing is needed to be understood here is, when the halt instruction gets executed, program counter value will not be updated. While I was explaining about the halt instruction, I explained you clearly that only for the halt instruction, the program counter will not get updated. If it is any other instruction, the next instruction's address will be the program counter value that will get pushed into the stack. But for the halt instruction, there won't be any program counter value. Rather, the program counter value will not get updated during the execution of the halt instruction. So, program counter value is the same as the current instruction's address, that is 1024. So, 1024 is the correct answer, that is C. Okay, but generally you will be tempted for D option, because when the halt instruction gets executed as it is taking one word, the next address will be 1028 as far as your knowledge is concerned. But try to understand, when the halt instruction gets executed, there is no way that our program counter value will ever get updated. Okay, so 1024 is the correct answer, not 1028. Most of the people will notch their head if it is CRD. Clearly it will be C, because when halt instruction gets executed, PC won't update. This is the thing with this question. Now let us solve another question based on the same data in the next video.